Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zach. In this video, we're looking at Kevin O'Leary speaking on CoinDesk about, of course, crypto taxation regulation, with, of course, the Feds doing what they're doing with regulation, figuring things out. He has been speaking at White House about what is happening with him and crypto. Let's get into what he has to say.
Well, I think with regulation comes taxation. That's for sure. And that's okay. I pay my taxes when I trade stocks and bonds. I'm willing to live with it. What we're missing, when I stressed when we were having this discussion, exactly the way you posed the question, is we do not have the compliance infrastructure built in yet. So it's very difficult right now to connect your crypto trading to your desk, your compliance desk, that then can mark to market your positions each day. But, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried's looking into this for FTX, Binance, the same thing. We're trying to build that infrastructure into the larger institutional trading platforms. And they're addressing, they're part of this discussion on the Loomis bill. And everybody gets the joke on this. We've got to be able to actually have the reporting fit into the existing compliance infrastructure so we can pay our taxes. And we need our auditors to sign off on our statements so we can comply and file with the regulator. I think we can get all this done in the next 18 to 24 months. And I think the value of getting all this done is it builds into what we already have. Right now, from my trading desk, for my compliance department, I have no way except hiring 3 people to actually take tally of every trade so that we can stay compliant and show our statements on gains and losses and yield or staking to our auditors in a way that's auditable. And that's the work we've got to get done. So in the end, and I think this is what everybody should think about, Bitcoin is not a coin. It's software. Ethereum is software. Solana is software. Avalanche is software. Helium is software. It's all software. And we should embrace this innovation, invest in this innovation, and lead it here in both development and compliance and policy in the United States. Once you do that, it becomes the global standard. And I think the senators get that. I think they get it. And I think they want it, and they want this to stay domestic, and we need policy. So all of a sudden, it's moved up the feeding chain on the agenda items. Nobody was even talking about this just 3 months ago. And look at where we are now. Every news outlet is talking about it. We're talking about it now. This is important. What we started our conversation with the EU vote, which is going to come in a couple of hours. What I think is going to happen there is basically nothing. They don't want to stifle innovation either, but they're pushing this ESG mandate, which makes the Norway model the new way of mining. We're going to have to use hydro, nuclear, wind, and solar, and the industry is willing to do that. Unfortunately, the early adopters, the early public mining companies, in nascent industries, this happens. They get the arrows in their back. Their stocks, PE, are going to compress as these new companies like the Norway, like the BitZero go public, and institutions can buy their shares. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Want to know where to invest $1,000 right now? Well, forget about crypto, NFTs, real estate.
But they're reacting to this ESG mandate all around the world, whether it comes from BlackRock, Biden, or now the EU.
So, Kevin, I was going to ask you how you would pitch this to Senator Warren and Brad Sherman, but since we're short on time, I got to ask you about your home and native land, Canada, how it treated its truckers and what it dealt with, and how it dealt with their Bitcoin donations. What are your thoughts in general about how Trudeau has handled the Bitcoin and crypto, the donations aspects, et cetera, and how it dealt with the truckers? And also, if you have any picks here with the conservative leadership contest that's happening, since you considered throwing your hat in the ring a while ago.
Been there, done that. Won't do that again. However, to address your issue around Trudeau is a very successful politician. He is a terrible manager. Now, in Canada, it's the parliamentary system. The whole idea of being prime minister is to try and find individuals, men and women with talent in each of the mandates, in finance, in the environment, in procurement of military, in medical. And he has been an abysmal failure on that regard because he's never done this before. And so the Canadian people have suffered badly. He's a very, very poor manager. But the cavalry is coming. There's good news. Jean Charest recently threw his hat in the ring last Thursday. I've publicly endorsed him. He has a long track record of executional skills, and we need someone like that. Canada desperately needs adult supervision in government, and it's coming. As a Canadian taxpayer and a citizen, I'm also Irish, I'm also Emirati, I can compare how these countries are operated. Canada is the richest country on earth run by idiots. And that's a really damning statement. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's time to make a change there, because the country has every resource the world wants. It's a very, very wealthy country, but it's poorly managed. And so if we can, for example, Canada is one of the richest countries on earth for oil, and we can't even get it to the East Coast because Trudeau was never able to deliver on the pipeline. He bought it for the Canadian people for $4.5 billion and then just trashed the project. That's just bad management. That's bad leadership. What he did to those truckers is outrageous. I mean, that's just completely wrong. It's almost immoral. It should be illegal and it should be challenged. We don't do that in a democratic society. That's just wrong. I would expect that to happen in China or now in Russia, but not in Canada. And so the Canadian people aren't going to forget that. We have a leadership race and then probably an election within 24 months. And finally, we can help Trudeau find a real career. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not running Canada.
So that was a very sort of damning piece on Trudeau specifically from Kevin O'Leary there. What are your thoughts on that? I honestly wasn't expecting him to say that, but honestly, that's, you know, his right to say what he thinks and what he can see happening around the world. Of course, what are your thoughts on everything we're seeing here? Of course, that went from tax regulation to, of course, what's happening with Canada and, of course, the Freedom Convoy, etc. I'd love to hear your take on everything happening there. Of course, this is the Web3 channel covering everything happening in the Web3 space, from crypto, NFT, and metaverse news. This was obviously regarding crypto and regarding what we can expect to see over the coming years, essentially, when it comes to tax regulation, etc. That being said, have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next Web3 video.